Okay, let's get started. So, as was noted yesterday, I just sort of went back and got sort of a few reference pieces that would allow me to better sort of capture the various different things, and I've set it all out. So we've got some trees because I've decided I'm going to put this creature in a tree, sort of going to hang from a tree and then sort of land on you kind of thing. That'll be fun, I think. Then we've got some rattlesnake reference, so we can actually move that piece so that we can in fact sort of get what the tail is going to look like. Then we've got some wings, so that's nice and easy. Let's just give the old computer a moment. Just thinking about it. There we go. So yep, we've got some wings to use as reference. We've got some crocodiles for reference. I'm thinking I'm going to go closer to sort of the baby crocodile look, because if a monster looks cute as well, that's marginally more terrifying in my experience. Then we have some gecko reference. However, I did find that I wasn't actually thinking of geckos when I was thinking of the hands. I was in fact thinking of amphibians and stuff, which we'll see later down, but we may still take some stuff from that. And then we have sort of the goat eyes, which are marginally terrifying. And yeah, then the amphibians, so we can sort of look at what the hands are looking like. So let's put that away again, and we'll bring that stuff back. So that's sort of the critter we've got. What we probably want to do is just do a couple of rough bits and pieces for the parts that didn't really actually follow what it was supposed to be. So for example, the rattlesnake's rattle, I didn't really do that justice. Now I'm gonna make that a bit smaller. There we go. Yeah. Whoops. That. We're going to make that layer a bit smaller. There we go. About yay big. That'll do the job. There we go. And so now we can just quickly sort of have a go at throwing together what that tail is probably more likely to look like. So it's going to be sort of have sort of that. It's probably going to be about there. And sort of go there. Now this is just rough, just to get the general idea down and sort of roughly how I'd put it together. There, and then we want to bring it all together with the end part, which kind of goes like that, and we'll sort of have that shading down on the bottom part of it. As I said, just sort of rough, just to get the idea of how it all needs to work together. Now for the rest of this, I'm just going to do a very handy trick. So within Clip Studio and probably most other softwares, I can go new window. So it brings up a new window of what we're already looking at. And I can pull that over to one of my other windows. We can do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it. Because often when you flip stuff, you start to get an idea of whether something actually is evenly spread out, all of those kinds of things. But yeah, we can then do a little bit more on this. So we can sort of have that, and we've got sort of a crisscrossy, almost like, yeah, sort of diamonds almost. And it's sort of standard snake kind of skin sort of thing. There we go. So now we have a rough idea for that. Just see if there's any other stuff we might want to check on. Yeah. So I do just want to take a little bit from sort of how the teeth are done. So let's have a look. It could be sort of having those bunched little bits, just like that, just like that. Most of them are coming down though, and we have the occasional big one coming down. As a general rule, I tend to focus on the bigger stuff first, and then on the small stuff. Just keeps me a little bit saner. It means I'm not rubbing stuff out and I didn't need to. There we go. And then it gets to just sort of quite small teeth like that, and then just a couple of big jutty outy ones on the front. It all sort of goes like that, and these ones don't have the rounding so much because they're sort of hidden behind something else. And we bring that back in like so. So that's sort of roughly how that'll work, and then the nostrils as well. However, I'm going to be bringing sort of this part of the mouth forward a bit, so that we do actually get that sort of look of something's like its jaw itself is quite dangerous. Yeah, just to give it that little extra edge of blah. And then the nostrils are sort of like so, and then a bit like that, and then yeah, kind of like that sort of a thing. There we go. So that's that. We probably won't end up using sort of the gecko design at all because it wasn't quite what I was thinking it was going to be. The goat eyes are a good one to just quickly sort of roughly get the shape in. So I've got sort of a circle to begin with, followed by sort of that little bit coming out for the tear duct, Maybe bring that in like that a bit more. We can do it like that. We have sort of that kind of a look with sort of another eyelid just coming over sort of around there. Yeah, there we go. And obviously like that. Now, one thing I'm going to do with my guy, is I'm actually going to do the eye like that. Because having it like that, to me, is a little bit more terrifying. There we go. So we end up having... sort of that eye, and admittedly, and this is where having that second window which I showed before comes in handy, because I can see that it's a little bit skewed, so I can go like that, and it looks a wee bit better. There we go. So that's that. Did we get the frog hands about right? Yeah, I think we did. It'll be more the colouring that we'll be thinking about with that. There we go. I am just thinking with this guy, we may actually want to even give our guy sort of that big blobby neck bit. That could be exciting. So, we've now done a few of the reference drawings. We want to sort of start moving into the design. We've got reference material to show what it is that we need, but the thing is, I want to go a step up from the other ones I've done before, and I actually want to put this guy in an environment, which that's where the trees come in. Because here I can sort of see the texturing, the bark, the shape, all of that, and we can actually get this guy in a real environment. So I'm just going to do sort of some rough sketching of sort of what that's going to look like, and when it's the rough stuff, you don't have to worry about whether or not it's perfect or anything like that. So I'm also going to lower the opacity on that guy so he's less noticeable. So I'm thinking we'll have sort of, yeah, have sort of tree branch kind of like that. Have sort of tree going up like that. And we'll have this guy sort of wrapped around. There we go. Around. Maybe a bit bigger on there. That one. So I've got that kind of a look, and then up this end, that's where we can have that rattle. have just the end. Ooh, that wasn't good. Then we have just sort of that end bit as well. Got that all sort of roughly going in. Maybe move that like that, like so. And then we have, actually, so what I'll do, what do I? So I'm just going to compress this section a little bit so we have a bit more room to play around with. Sorry, the computer's not liking having to do its job. Yep, so we can have that like that. Then we can put that back together. There we go. And now we have, so we can have the coils reasonably tight here. However, we're going to have it a bit bulging a bit more than that. So we have it like that. And this is where we're going to have that sort of bit on the back with the wings. Although those wings seem a little bit too small, plus this guy isn't going to be flying right now. There we go. I'm going to make this eraser a bit bigger as well, just to save myself some time. Go. And here we are. And then he can be sort of coming around this part, sort of bending himself around. And so now we've got sort of the yeah, we're going to have to make this whole thing a bit smaller so that we can fit him completely in. Go. I'm just going to get rid of the background one. Oh, that's another thing to erase. Yeah. And this is all just to roughly figure out where it's going to be. There we have there. We have, so I'm just going to bring up the reference material. There we have that. There we go. Trying to get that sort of rough kind of look. Actually, so we have that sort of coming down. And we'll have so that this guy has sort of a underbite kind of a look. And then we have bring, no, not that one, that one. And we can have sort of the arm coming up, sort of grabbing on here. And then we can almost have that part just going over the edge there. And seeing as this is supposed to be a monster, it's perfectly okay if it looks a bit creepy and is a bit bendy. Yeah. And then you can have the other arm sort of coming in like that. Just sort of over there. Yeah, and we'll probably tweak these a little bit before the end anyway. There we go, so that's that, and then we have the tree, then we have that coming in like that, and coming out like that. We have sort of that kind of look, and we can sort that out. We have sort of the eyes with that. Sort of look. We're wanting to sort of get real creepy. And if we remember correctly, the eyes were sort of, well, first we'll shade that in, and it's sort of a round with a little bit for like the tear duct kind of thing. And sort of an extra eyelash there, eyebrow, no, eyelid, that's one, there we go. I think I can bring this out a little bit more, just to give it a bit more of that sort of realistic kind of a feel. And then we can actually bring this in a little bit more. Actually, it'd almost be like that. Yeah. So then we can have sort of maybe a branch coming off, and no, it doesn't really make sense if it's going that way. That, like that. And we have maybe that branch is in behind, so we have it like that. We have like that. These can all sort of branch off nicely, like so. Go. So now we've got this little fella. We can start to put in color. I'm just going to check the wing reference. So they tend to have sort of that kind of bit there. Just sort of like that, and then it's sort of a bit thicker along the top part there, just initially. And there's sort of thicker bits as well, but maybe not like that. That. And we sort of have all junctiony bits, goes like that. It comes down like so. Those junction bits can sort of come back like that. There we go. And then another sort of bit like that. Go. There's that. And then there is sort of that. And then we've got a little junction sort of coming off there. So I'm going off the top wing, just because that works nicely. It does the job. Therefore, why not? Like that. And anyway, this is going to end up being a little bit different just because well, I'm the one doing it as opposed to someone else. And that's one thing I like about drawing. It tells you what it tells people what you see, not what everyone else would see if you showed them a picture, which is quite nice. That sort of goes up there, and then there was that little bit that kind of went like that. And then we have that. It's a little bit that goes sort of here. That goes through. And then oh, it doesn't really curve that way. This sort of goes like that, and that goes like that. And we've got one more little bit. That. Also that. And then from there, it's mostly just sort of the filling in the crisscrossing patterns, which we can kind of just recreate in with sort of a texturing kind of effect. So this would sort of, I do like how it looks like it's almost digging into the skin, almost like it's not supposed to be there. Yeah, so we can get rid of that. So now I think if I just close in those points and all of that, we should be able to select and not worry. Oh, no. We've got, well, I'm going to close the gaps. So we can do that, yeah, we can do that, that, and that. There we go. We can just deselect a few little bits and pieces just to clean it up. Whoops. That. Yeah. But it's looking pretty good for now. And we'll be adding bits and pieces, of course, along the way. So we put that in underneath, we fill with black, hide that, and now we've sort of got a nice silhouette for this creature. And I'll just tidy it up a little bit. And straight away from the silhouette, you can already see, like you can see sort of the hands, the funky frog hands. You can tell sort of where the head is. You can see the rattle and all of that stuff. And it all works quite nicely together. And it's pretty obvious from the silhouette that this thing is in a tree. And we'll just fill, where's that? Go to the larger size. Although sometimes all of these little imperfections and stuff can be quite handy, but for now, just have it like so. That. Sorry, a little bit finicky with this stuff. Do that. Yeah. Go. And a few little bits there. I'm basically just getting rid of little spots of stuff. Moment. There we go. So we now have this which we can start to do something with. So I like to get this, and then I like to start sort of blocking in the different sections based on the different shapes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the line work back in, and I'm going to set it to overlay so it only exists on top of that. Well, actually, no, we don't even need to overlay, we can just clip it. And I'm going to set it to a different color. Okay, maybe we shouldn't be clipping it. Where's all the line work then? Unless, of course. No. Okay, what's happening? Okay, so what happens if we go like that? Yep, so it is there. Ah, that's because it's still overlay mode. Normal. There we go. That's better. And I'm just going to set it to sort of a light grey. Yeah. And so now we can start selecting parts of it. Now I'm going to just have a folder with the various different sections. What I try to do is I try to go with the base first. So this initial base layer, that's sort of the lowest layer, that's going to be the tree. Then the next layer up is going to be the actual animal itself. So this is where the lasso tool becomes very, very useful. Go. I'm going to just change the shapes a little bit. There we go. There's the arm done. And we sort of have to do that. Yeah, I'm trying to give as much commentary at this point as I can, but realistically there isn't that much commentary to give other than selecting the stuff. Go. Bring that in. That part there. We've got this part here. Do that. There's that. And this becomes nice and easy because we don't have to worry about selecting any part of the tree. So we've now got him selected. So we're going to go just a little bit lighter so that it'll be obvious. And we fill that in. Yeah. Was it obvious? Not really. We don't have too many layers, so we can afford to do it a bit more with that. There we go. So again, now if we get rid of the line work, we can kind of clearly see stuff. The wings are still a little bit less obvious, but that's probably just because you wouldn't expect to see that in this. So we've got that. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do things a little bit differently to usual. Because yeah, no, I'll actually keep it at that. We'll go 50. We will lock the pixels, and then we will fill with 50%. There we go. Yeah. So now we have something like this. So one trick I like to use is you have a folder doing the clipping, and then that means whatever's in the folder can then be clipped to what's in the folder as well as what's out of. Otherwise it can only clip to one thing at a time, which is a little bit bothersome. So now we're going to start sort of just blocking in possible colors. And these colors can come from the reference. So do we want to go with the crocodile baby? I'm just going to pull the reference up to the top as well at the moment, just because that's where it's more useful. Do we want that kind of color? How does that look though? Not quite. How about we go with the base? Now I'm just going to set this to pick up the display color. So that's that. Now we can go sort of 50. Later on I may adjust this by sort of washing it out a bit more, but you never know. Let's go a bigger one. There we go. we go, so that's that. And then it can sort of gradually become closer to that thing's colour. So we'll try and pick that up. There we are. And we can start putting that in on there. I'm actually liking this colour a bit more. That. There we are. We can spread that out. There we are. So if we get rid of the line work, yep. And I'm wanting sort of, yeah, that sort of frog green and frog orange kind of colours. Dangerous looking. For the remaining parts, that's going to select everything that's not done. So what we can then do is we can, how's that going to work? Alright, so we can just select the selected section, which is that part. We can also additionally select those parts just to get that in there. Yep. That's that. Then deselect. Deselect partially. Any more overlay in places there shouldn't be? No, it's looking good. So we will throw that in, and then we'll throw in the green in a similar fashion. We'll keep that selection going though. So the green was, not that guy, this guy. That was mostly sort of the ends of the legs. And we may even bring the blue in a bit too at some point. And let's bring this down a bit. Okay, we want to actually put that in properly. So I'm going to take off the line art here as well. And yeah, we'll tidy all of this up at a certain point. So we've got a little bit coming in there. Yeah, I see what's happening. In this case, we're going to have it on both sides. So I am thinking I will need to bring that sort of blue in just to balance it all out a bit. Let's have another look. Yep. So yeah, that was about it. And then we can bring in that blue. And blue was mostly running. Okay. Sort of. So yeah, sort of running through that middle part, and kind of coming up the arm like so. And because this arm's sort of bending around, you have to consider that fact, whereas this one is not. We'll be cleaning these colours up a bit more later on. I quite like doing it like that. Go. That means we're going to get more of it over here, just sort of in that gap, and some more over here, and then we get that one going. Yeah, again, so we've got, sort of comes through over here, and then we can go a bit bigger on the go. So we've got sort of that kind of thing going on. Need the eyeballs. Yeah, we'll get that nice colour for the eyes. So we'll bring the line out back in, and we'll zoom in a bit. There we go. So again, for sort of the base, just sort of use the lasso tool on the line art, and you can just fill like so. And what we'll also do is we'll fill in that with black. Again, turn that off, and it's looking interesting. It's starting to look fun. Yeah. Now if we go back to the goat, there we go. Nope, not that. Yeah. So we can sort of bring in that colour up there. So that lighter colour. And can bring that in where that eyelid was going to be. And because we're having these colours, we do have to make sure that they do all join together in some way. So we'll probably use this colour as well for the shadows and stuff on the actual crocodile skin part. There we go. There's that, and then so we had the black, and that we can sort of bring in quite sharply. Now you don't necessarily want to go perfectly black. With the iris I have, but that's because that's a bit of a different matter, and we will adjust that in time. But like here, with the sort of painting type tool, the paintbrush tool, you can just keep sort of layering it and layering it until it gets to sort of the color that you're looking for. There we are. And what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to follow these colors with this, just to bring that where that jaw is going to actually be. There we go. And we'll, again, this will be adjusted later on. But for now, this will tell us what we need to know. Go. And we do need to put in that shading around here. Get rid of the line work and do it like so. There we are. So we've sort of started going on this drawing. We've started getting colours, all of those kinds of things, started blocking them in, put a few little bits and pieces of detail in. Because of how long this generally takes, I'll sort of finish it off myself. I will record it, and then it can all sort of come together in a nice speed paint kind of thing. But for now, we'll end that now, and do have a good day, and yeah, see you next time, or whenever. Bye.